Hi everybody, welcome back to Granny's Kitchen. So last week I decided that today I would make Irish soda bread. It's very traditional, exactly the way your mums or your grandmothers used to make it. And I chose a very apt day because it's actually raining and dull and horrible here in Canada. But anyway, let's start with probably the simplest recipe you have ever made in your life. Okay, so a couple of important elements here. You have to use buttermilk and you have to use baking soda, not baking powder. These two elements react together and they create their own raising agent. Now, if you don't have buttermilk, you can actually make your own buttermilk. So if you get a cup of milk, regular milk, and add a teaspoon of vinegar to every cup. So with this recipe, we use 2 cups of milk. So you would put 2 teaspoons of vinegar in the milk and let it stand for a while, and then you will have your buttermilk. So we're going to start off with flour. If you're making this in Ireland, you have to use plain flour. Now, some people will use a self-raising, and I think it probably will be fine, but typically this would have been made with a plain flour, which is ideal for Canada because all-purpose flour is a plain flour, meaning there's no raising agent in it. Okay, so we have 4 cups of flour. The mugs I used to use are gone, so now I just use this. It's very similar in measurement to what my mugs were. Okay, so, and again, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit heat, because a lot of this is kind of done by texture. So it's 3 and the last one is 4. Okay, 4 cups of flour. If you want to sieve, go ahead. I don't bother sieving my flour, but if you'd like to, by all means, sieve your flour. Okay, so to this we're going to add our baking soda, or carbonate of soda, so not baking powder, okay? So the bread soda. So a teaspoon. We also add a teaspoon of sugar. Okay, a little bit of sugar. And a lot, like in the olden days, they always added salt to their bread. This is optional. I don't actually have table salt. I'm just going to add a little bit of this Himalayan salt to it. Again, that's optional if you don't like to use salt. Okay. Okay, so I've added a cup of raisins. Typically, they wouldn't have added raisins. They would have done it maybe on a Sunday or something as a treat. But the basic bread without the raisins is what they would have baked every single day. So I'm going to add the buttermilk, and I'll just slowly mix it in with my spatula. Of course, they would not have used a spatula, they would have used their hands. Actually, that's what I should do. They didn't measure, they just knew by the feel of the bread. If it was too wet, they added more flour. If it was too dry, they added more milk. So I'm mixing it through with my hands, and it'll be wetter than a scone, but you don't want it to be too wet, because if it's too wet, it doesn't taste soft in the middle. It's kind of gloopy. So this is going to need some more milk. So this will be approximately 2 cups of milk, because so I'll just add another quarter and just see, will that be sufficient? Hoping that my camera work is good. Okay, so I'm just going to add another little bit. Catch up all the dry flour on the edges. And you can actually hear that it's just a little wet on the outside. So, but I don't know if you can tell compared to my scone recipe, it is wetter. Okay. Now, we're going to put this out on a floured board, or with me, I use my countertop. Okay, so flour your countertop. You can flour it well because, well, for me, I'm flouring it well because this is a little bit on the wetter side. And then you're just going to put some more flour on top, and you're going to knead lightly. I don't know if you can see how much softer that is than my scone recipe. So you don't want to over knead, so just knead it softly, and then you're going to pat it out into a circle. Now in the olden days, the Irish were very superstitious, and they had a lot of traditions, and they called them pishogues, which were like superstitions that like the fairies were going to come and take their little boys, so they dress them in dresses and all of that. Quite funny and cute folklore. But with the soda bread, they had a pishogue, I guess you'd call it, where they would always put a cross on the bread. Now this actually serves a purpose. It helps the bread cook in the middle, so that it isn't dense in the middle. But that's actually the origin of it. So they put a cross on it to ward away evil. So you just get an ordinary knife and cut in. You don't cut in too far. I don't know if you can see, I'm just kind of scoring the top really. Probably maybe a quarter of an inch down. And then they always did this with a knife. And again, this is to allow the bread to cook and for the heat to get into the bread. And then we just, don't mind my pans, they're all overused and much abused, very much loved. So we're going to flour our pan, and then we're just going to take up our bread, pop it onto my tray, and in it goes to the oven. So guys, you're going to heat your oven to 200 degrees in Ireland and 400 degrees in Canada. So you have to bake this bread in a hot oven. The reason being, in the olden days when they made this bread, they made it in their old ranges. My grandmother had an old black range, and this is how they heated their homes. So they had turf in there, possibly coal, I'm not sure, but usually turf. And beside the part that heated the house, there was an oven. It was actually attached to the range. And that's where they put their bread in. They threw it in there to bake. And that is why today we bake it at such a high temperature. So it bakes fast. So anywhere between 30 and 40 minutes is a good indicator for your bread. Okay guys, I'm taking it out of the oven now. And I'm just going to show it to you there. I hope you can get a good view of how it looks. And you'll probably remember if you've watched my scone videos, you should check, so actually get a clean tea towel and catch your bread and turn it over, and you have to pat it on the bottom. And do you hear that hollow sound? So if you get that hollow sound, that's usually an indication that your bread is cooked perfectly. Okay, so while I have my tea towel in my hand, I'm just going to explain to you. So when our mothers and our grandmothers made the bread, they always wrapped it in a tea towel. Actually, you can have a look at it there. It's not gorgeous. They always wrapped it in a tea towel, and this was because they didn't want the crust to be too hard. So it's up to you if you want to do that or not. Some of them used to use a damp tea towel. Some of them just used an ordinary tea towel. The more you bake this, you'll get an idea of your oven and how long it's going to take to fully bake this bread. Okay, so they always said don't eat it warm because it would give you a pain in your belly. So I guess there's obviously a reason for this. So I do eat it when it's warm but not hot. If you cut it when it's too hot, it kind of feels like it's gluey in the middle. So let it cool a bit before you do eat it. Okay guys, so my bread is out, it's wrapped in the tea towel. I'm going to let it cool down probably for about 15 minutes or so before I actually cut it. So just cut it up and butter it, put some jam on it, and make yourself a nice cup of tea or coffee. So I hope you enjoy this recipe, and if you have any questions, just ask down below. Okay, enjoy.